Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Algonquin Regional High School. My name is Janet Brown. I am the assistant principal, one of three, for the freshman class. And so I'm just thrilled to welcome you and to introduce you a little bit more to our school. We've had a lot of different events for families of incoming ninth graders, and this tonight will specifically focus on a lot of the curriculum. But before we get there, I just want to tell you a little bit about the administrative team that will be taking care of your children. Again, my name is Janet Brown, and since I will be directly responsible for supporting you and your children over the next 4 years, I thought I'd take just a few minutes to introduce myself. I started teaching in 1993. I spent 27 and a half years in the classroom. I was an English teacher. I was also an English department leader at the Bromfield School in Harvard for 8 years before, in the middle of the pandemic, I became an assistant principal. I have been in this role now for 4 years. In total, this is my 31st year in education. What I hope that those 31 years have done is made me into somebody who is exceptional at supporting students and their families. And I'm kind of your go-to person in the school. If you're not sure where to go, you're always welcome to come to me. If your students aren't sure what to do, they're always welcome to come to me. I will be with your students 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and in 12th grade, and I will see them off as they head out 4 years after they get here. I would like to say just a few things in terms of my experience. Over the last 31 years, I have taught in many places, and I have also been a student of both the public and the private school. Of all the schools that I've taught in, of all the places I've been a leader in, Algonquin is the first school that I, as a student, as I think back to the person I was between the ages of 14 and 18, I would have wanted to call home. We are a small, large school, and what that means is that we are large in that we have every opportunity for every kind of student, and that is rare. If you have a student who is a hands-on student, we have programming for that. If you have a student who's musically inclined, we have programming for that. If you are raising an athlete, we have Division I and Division II sports. We are all-encompassing. We're large enough to offer a significant amount of programming, and had I been able to influence my parents and whisper in their ears way back when, this is the school that I would have chosen. It's also why I choose to lead here. And so welcome, and welcome to our school. I'm excited at the idea of supporting you. But I'm not the only administrator that you work with in your journey here, so I'd like to introduce you to some of our other administrators. Even though I'm primarily responsible for the incoming 9th grade class, all of our students work with all of the administrators here. And so I'd like to introduce you to Andy McGowan, who is the current 9th grade and 11th grade assistant principal. I'd also like to introduce you to Kathy Carmignani, who works with special populations and a lot of our data. And Principal Bevan emailed you that he will be here before the end of the evening, and he looks forward to meeting with you as well. Tonight's programming has several different aspects to it. We'll talk a little bit in the beginning about the athletic complex and what the bell schedule looks like, the sort of daily operations, and then we'll move into a longer discussion. Lisa Connery, our guidance department leader, is going to come in, and she's going to talk to you all about course selection and programming, not just for the freshman year, but the progression up through all 4 years that your student will be here. One of the most exciting aspects of being a 9th grader at Algonquin next year is that your children will be able to take advantage of a state-of-the-art new athletic complex that is just being finished. And so here's a visual of all the work that you can't see right now that's been going on in the dark back there. We have brand new turf fields, and let me show you what those sort of look like. So the things that are already completed and are in use, we have a multi-purpose field that's lined for rugby, soccer, field hockey, football. We have courts. The new athletic complex has added pickleball courts. So we have brand new tennis courts. We have a basketball court, 3 pickleball courts. We also have a lacrosse wall and a brand new stadium field, turf field, and track. And we are just about finished. So there's a few more things, if you're familiar with the school, that we just have to put the bow on until everything is up and running. And that is the amphitheater, which is out over on the corner over there that students will be able to use. Also, the grandstands are just about being finished, and the press box is just about ready to be installed. So all of those things will be completed in the spring. So when your students get here in September, this brand new state-of-the-art facility will be here for them. I think sometimes one of the things that for me as a student was one of the most important things was to understand kind of like what my day looks like. As with many schools in the area, an attendance study was done a handful of years ago, and our start time changed. At this point, we've had an 8 o'clock start time for some time now. The data supports that high school students need a little extra time in the morning. Perhaps you know somebody who sleeps in late in your house. And so we start at 8 o'clock. We have what's called a waterfall schedule. So if you just take a look at the column that says A, that's right next to the times, students have 7 periods. And so it's A block, B block, C block, D block, E block, F block, and G block. In order to have classes that are an hour long, which gives you a nice spacious classroom time for learning, we drop 1 period a day. So the classes go in rotation, and although the chart behind me may look very confusing, it's actually really easy to follow. So your A block class is your first class of the day. You go all the way through to F, and then G drops. And the next day, if A was first, the next day B is first, and you go right down the line. B, C, D, E, F, and G, and A drops. So that also means that students have like a little bit of a respite as they're carrying 7 courses. And as you move along the line, you can see that the classes just sort of rotate down in a waterfall. We have 3 class periods in the morning, all just under an hour before we have lunch. We have lunch in 3 shifts. We have a cafeteria that can seat 500 students. We also have a lot of alternative seating for students if the cafeteria isn't a place that they find comfortable. We have outside seating for students as well. And then we have 2 periods after the lunch before we end up the day. We end at 2:30 every day. And so in this schedule, your students will come in, they will understand like what their periods are, A through G, and then they'll follow this schedule. This schedule is available online, and it becomes really easy to follow because it's like, it's A block, what's next? It's B block, what's next? It's C block. If you had A first period, say on Monday, you don't have it on Tuesday, you start with B block. So even if you look across the front, it's really easy to remember, like we started with A block on Monday, B block on Tuesday, C block on Wednesday as they rotate through. The classes that they'll be taking in these schedules will be able to be explained to you by Lisa Connery, our guidance department head. So I'm gonna turn the podium over to her to talk about if you have a child who is a new student to our district, and then also to talk about the programming of what goes into those blocks. So, Lisa?
All right, good evening. Thank you, Janet. I'm just gonna adjust here a little bit. As Jana said, my name is Lisa Connery. I am the chair of the guidance department. So welcome. We probably saw many of you back in November when we did the 8th grade parent night. So thank you for coming back out tonight. Our focus is going to be on the curriculum, focusing on graduation requirements and the many courses that we have to offer here at Algonquin. I'm going to give you a brief overview of all of that. And then Andy McGowan will touch base on a few supports that we have here at Algonquin. And then we're going to turn it over to our department chairs. We have all of our department chairs out in the hallway, and they can answer some more specific questions that you might have about the courses that your students are going to be taking. So if you are new to the district, meaning if you are coming, say, from St. Bernadette's, a private school, you will need to register with the district before we can start the course selection process with you. If you're currently a Milliken or Trotter student, you do not need to worry about registering with the district. You're already a part of the community, but private school students, you will need to go to the district website under families, and we do an online registration process. Once you've completed that online registration process, it will send us an email, and we will contact you to schedule a registration meeting with you. We're going to be holding those meetings on March 12th and 13th. The reason why we do those meetings early on is because we want to be able to also go, walk you and your student through the course selection process so you are part of that process right from the beginning, the same as our other middle school students and our current students here at Algonquin. So you go to the district site under families and complete the online registration process, and then we will reach out to you to schedule a meeting in March. Okay. So tonight we're going to be talking about our graduation requirements and course selections for 9th grade. So of course, once your students come up to the high school, they are going to have to complete certain MCAS exams in order to graduate. So freshman year, students will be doing the biology MCAS exam. They'll take that in June. And then in sophomore year, they will do the ELA exam in March and the math exam in May. And I can assure you that while this is a graduation requirement, our students do very well on the MCAS exam, all right? Our teachers prepare them well, and so they will be ready when they take that, but it's important to note that it is a part of our graduation requirements. Okay, so in order to graduate from Algonquin, you need to take, your student will need to take 4 years of English earning 20 credits. A full year course is worth 5 credits. A semester course is worth 2.5 credits. So in order to graduate, they will do 4 years of English. Freshman year, they will take freshman English. We offer that at the honors or the college prep level. And then 10th grade, sophomore English again at the honors or the college prep level. Those are both full year courses. In junior year, we offer honors, college prep, or one of our advanced placement courses, language and composition, or AP literature. Now in senior year, we have several semester courses that students can take at the honors or the college prep level, or they can again take the other AP English course. If they took one in junior year, they could take the other in senior year, vice versa. And so a lot of the courses that we have to offer, say come senior year, we offer a lot of great literature courses, whether it's fairy tales and myths, silence voices, literature of Asia and Latin America. We have a new course running this year, environmental humanities, which is a co-taught course between our English department and our science department, so that will be fun to see next year. We also have a fantastic writing courses, whether it's journalism, learning how to write for our school newspaper, and then maybe becoming a member of the Harbinger, or taking the Writing Center Studies, which teaches students how to become a tutor in the Algonquin Writing Center. So the English department has a lot of different electives that students can take. So of course they can take their required course, but if this is an area of interest for them, they are more than welcome to also take some of the courses as an elective course. Yes? Yeah, Sean Bevan typically sends out copies of the presentations to everyone, okay? And then we'll take some questions at the end, all right? All right, so for our social studies requirement, of course, our department chair for the history department is Brittany Burns. We require 3 years of history to graduate, 15 credits. And so in freshman year, students will take US 1. That is an unleveled course. All students will take the same course next year. Grade 10, students will either take US 2 at the CP or the honors level, or they'll have the opportunity to take AP US History. And in 11th grade, they'll do world history again at the honors or the college prep level and have the opportunity for an honors level course. In addition to the required courses, our social studies department has a lot of great elective courses. Once again, especially as students become sophomores, juniors, and seniors, they can choose to take some of these courses as electives in addition to the required courses they're taking. So we offer public speaking or positive psychology, race in America, criminal justice, Holocaust and human behavior. We have various AP courses, whether it's AP Gov or AP Government, Human Geography. So they have a lot of really nice offerings for your student to kind of further explore their interest. From a math perspective, Beth Dorr is our department chair for the math department. We require 3 years of math to graduate, so 15 credits. However, the Massachusetts State Colleges and Universities require 4 years of math for admissions purposes. So that's UMass Amherst, UMass Boston, Westfield State. So we tell our students who are college bound, they really should plan on taking 4 years of math, even though we're only requiring 3 years of them. A typical math progression for students, it's going to vary depending on, your student's skill level and what they're recommended for. Many of our freshmen come in taking Algebra 1, whether that's at the honors or the college prep level, and a traditional progression from there would be geometry, Algebra 2, and then pre-calculus. Some of our students who are coming in having taken algebra in middle school might take Algebra 2, and then they'll take geometry and go into pre-calc, and then, of course, calculus. We offer calculus at the honors or AP, AB, or BC calculus for our students. So that progression is going to just depend on your students and kind of where they're at in their development mathematically. Okay. Yes. So this year we do have a section of Algebra 2 for our freshmen, but of course depending on the schedule and stuff, there is a possibility that there could be some overlap. So yes, there could potentially be. All right. Okay, so in order, our science requirement is 3 years of science, 15 credits. We require biology, chemistry, and physics, and all 3 of those are offered at either the college prep or the honors level. And again, students will be taking the MCAS at the end of freshman year after completing their full year of biology. In addition to the required courses, our science department has some fantastic electives. Of course, we offer all of the AP science courses, biology, chemistry, environmental science, and physics. And we also have some fun courses like forensic science or innovations, intro to mechanical, electrical engineering, biotechnology, environmental science. So a lot of great opportunities for your student if this is like an area of interest for them, if they're more focused maybe in a STEM field. Regards to world language, Emily Squires is our department chair for the world language department. We do not have a world language requirement to graduate. However, again, the Massachusetts State Colleges and Universities require a minimum of 2 years of world language as part of their admissions process. And when they say 2 years, they mean at least level 2, so Spanish 2 or Latin 2, French 2, okay? So the majority of our students do take a world language, and many of them take world language for 3 to 4 years, kind of depending on what their preferences are and how they're progressing along in the language. I typically tell students, because world language is kind of the gray area in the admissions process, you know, the Mass state schools require 2 years. Other schools like to see 3 to 4 years in high school. So I always encourage my students, you know, if it's going well, minimally continue through junior year, and then we can talk about what senior year might look like for you. And our students will also have the opportunity to participate in the Seal of Biliteracy exam, which is a proficiency test. That is, we then, if they are earned the Seal of Biliteracy, we then put that on their transcript, and they're able to send that off to their colleges as well. Okay, so we do require health and fitness every year, a semester every year that's required by the state. So your students will be doing health and fitness 9, 10, 11, and 12. 9, 11, and 12 focus more on fitness, and health and fitness 10 is more health-oriented. They also offer a few electives, weight training and team sports, which some of our students definitely enjoy participating in. The Applied Arts Department, the department head is George Clark. We require in 9th grade that students take either digital literacy or exploring computer science. And then in 10th, 11th, or 12th grade, students are required to take economics. And that graduation requirement can be fulfilled through microeconomics, AP, honors, CP, or financial literacy honors or CP. It's kind of interesting, they had it on the news the other night here. There's a young man who's kind of petitioning to try to make financial literacy a requirement for all high school students, right? And I thought, oh, that's nice, we already do that. So good news for your students. We're going to introduce them to some personal finance and help them along the way. So we're already ahead of that curve as they're looking to make that a requirement across the state. All right. In addition to those requirements, the Applied Arts Department has so many great electives, whether it's the Education and Consumer Sciences with our Culinary Arts program, Baking and Pastry, or Global Cuisine, or it's our preschool. We do have a preschool here at the high school where students can take early childhood development or learn through play. They learn about the developmental stages of students, and then they actually get to work with the students. They have some great technology electives, whether it's construction tech, engineering with metals, or wood tech, robotics. So they have a lot of great hands-on opportunities for our students, which oftentimes is such a nice break in their day. Our Applied Arts Department also has a great business program offering a lot of different electives, whether it's marketing or business law, entrepreneurship, project management, sports and entertainment management. They have a really big DECA program that is also connected to their business classes. So if that's an area of interest for your student, then a lot of great opportunities. In addition, we have computer science electives, C++ or Python. We offer the AP Computer Science Principles and A courses as well. So there's another great opportunity for your student if they're interested in, if they're thinking about, coding and want to kind of explore that as a possibility for them. So we also require a semester of fine and performing arts. We were entertained here for a few minutes with one of our jazz ensembles. They did a fabulous job and sounded great. So they also have a lot of great opportunities for students to fulfill their graduation requirement, whether it's through the visual arts or like Art One or ceramics, digital art, photography, or it's drama. Maybe it's participating in the music program through our band or choral programs. They also have a lot of great introductory courses, whether it's American pop music, beginning piano, or learn to jam. All right, so there's a lot, like like Mrs. Brown was saying, like, I would choose to come here, and we are very, very fortunate for all of the great opportunities and electives that we have to offer our students. So not only do we have a very strong core educational program through all of those core courses, but there's a great elective program as well that allows students to explore their interest, whether it's something they're thinking about pursuing as a career, or maybe it's just something they're thinking about as a life activity. Whatever it is, it can provide a great break in the day for them. So that is like a quick little summary of our graduation requirements. We have this handy little 4-year course of study, and this is online, and I'll show you where that's located. But what we have developed here is kind of a chart for you, and we've mapped out a lot of the graduation requirements. And so as Janet Brown had mentioned, your student can be enrolled in up to 7 courses at a given time. And so we have gone through and we have kind of inserted what some of the graduation requirements are. And we've indicated where students can kind of put in some of their elective courses. So of course, the first couple years, they have a few more graduation requirements that they need to fulfill, but as they move through Algonquin, they have more opportunity to select a lot of the great elective courses that we have to offer. So if we were to just look at the column for 9th grade, you can see that where they're gonna take freshman English. They'll take their math class, whatever that is for your child, whether it's an Algebra 1, an Algebra 2 course. They're going to do their required U.S. History 1, their biology, if they're taking a world language. They have their health and fitness class, as well as their either digital literacy or exploring computer science. And then they have room for 1 full year elective, which might be like participating in band or chorus. That would be a full year program. Or they have room for 2 semester electives. So they might decide to take their art class and fulfill their fine arts program requirement in freshman year, do art or photo. Then they could also take a business class. It all depends on what your student is interested in. But they have room for a couple semester elective courses as well. And again, you can pull this up online and print that out if you'd like to use that to kind of map out courses for you and your student. So I have been referencing college prep and honors level courses, and so parents will often ask us, like, what is the difference between the college prep level course and an honors level course? And so our college prep level courses are really designed to develop a thorough understanding of foundational concepts in any given subject area, right? And so the materials are presented at a more deliberate pace. You might see more reinforcement of those concepts in a college prep level course. Again, it's important to remember, Algonquin sends over 90% of their students off to college. So a college prep level course is going to prepare your student for college level work, all right? Our honors level courses are designed to really engage those students, maybe who have a genuine interest in the subject area. It's going to go at a more accelerated pace with a little repetition of previous work. So students really need to make sure that they're working independently, and there will be a lot of outside preparation for those particular courses, an honors level course. Oftentimes parents will ask, like, honors versus college prep. Is it better to get an A in a CP course or a C+ in an honors course? So I guess it depends, right? If your student is quite comfortable challenging themselves, they embrace the challenge, they want the challenge, and they are okay with getting a C+ or a B-, they're working hard, they're staying after school, they're asking good questions, they're learning, they're growing, that's okay, and it's not taking up their entire evening every night, right? Then it is absolutely fine for them to challenge themselves. Now, if you have a student maybe who is, not okay with getting a C+, if that course is maybe bringing them to tears every night, and, they're staying up all night, trying to improve their grade in that course, and despite staying after, it's still not working out, then I would say in that case, it's probably not worth it. It's probably better to allow your student to find areas that, maybe they have more of a natural skills and strength for, allowing them to challenge themselves in honors level in that area, and bring balance maybe in other areas with a CP level course. So it really depends on your student, where their interests lie, what their strengths are, right? And how they're reacting to the work in the class. Now, as I had mentioned back in November, your student will be assigned to a guidance counselor, and they'll work with them all 4 years. Your counselor is more than happy to meet with your student to talk about these things. They're more than happy to talk with you about these things, what you're seeing at home, and to help you make a really informed decision about what the next step should be for your student. But if a course is causing considerable stress for your student, then I would say reach out and we can help work with that. All right, so there's no easy answer to that question. I think it just depends on your student and how they're reacting. Okay, so I'm going to be working very closely with the middle school counselors. I know that they're going to be going into the classrooms shortly, and they're going to be giving a similar presentation to your students and then meeting with them individually, going over their course selections. The middle school teachers are starting to make recommendations in Power School, and they will be recommending your students for the different courses and the levels here at Algonquin. So my advice to you would be to heed the advice of your teacher, your student's teacher. They have been working with your student in almost 3/4 of a year, and so they have a good sense of where their skills are at. They also work with our department heads here, so they have an understanding of the skills that we're looking for at the college prep level and at the honors level here at the high school. Now, if you have any questions at all about the recommendations that your students' teachers have made, you really should reach out to the teacher and then to the middle school guidance counselor. Oftentimes, parents will contact me, and I'm like, well, I don't really know your student. I don't necessarily have all the answers, all the information I need to be able to assist you with this. So I really would encourage you, talk with your middle school teachers first. Listen to what they have to say regarding your students' current skills. And then if you have further questions, check in with their guidance counselor. They've been doing this. Lauren and Jess and Kathleen have been with us for several years now. They've transitioned a bunch of classes up to the high school. They're familiar with our curriculum, so don't hesitate to reach out and ask them questions, okay? If for some reason you still disagree with the recommendations, you do have the right to override a recommendation and to move your student into the higher level. Again, you would work through the middle school with that, but they will provide you with an override form once you've had conversations with them about their recommendations and why they're making them, okay? Okay, so elective courses. So again, it's an opportunity for your student to explore their interests, whether they're career-oriented or maybe they're just life-oriented, right? Maybe it's just a passion that they would like to pursue. Provides a great opportunity for them to engage in a different type of learning environment, nice break in the day from the academics, and lots of times students and parents are afraid to enroll in some of our elective courses because they think that that's going to negatively impact their child from an admissions standpoint. And I can tell you that is not true. As long as your student is enrolled in the core content courses, which they will be as they're meeting the graduation requirements here, they are free to try any elective course that they would like to try. So don't let that rationale hold your student back from pursuing a course that they might be interested in. The middle school counselors will be going over with your students about the importance of providing alternative elective options. We do a great job. Kathy Carmignani, who Janet Brown introduced, does our master schedule, and so we do a very, very good job meeting the requests of our students. But again, sometimes all the pieces of the puzzle just simply don't work together. So if you give us alternative electives, we're able to schedule those before we release schedules to the entire school. And that's much easier to do than after schedules have been released and your students looking for an alternative elective. Okay, so the middle school counselors will be asking for, like 3 electives and then like maybe 3 alternatives for your students. Okay? All right. So we do offer an exemption policy. Students have the opportunity to exempt 1 full year course or 2 semester non-required courses each year. And the reason we did this is because we were finding that some of our students who were highly motivated, taking primarily honors and AP level courses, were hesitating to try and maybe take a CP elective that they might be interested in. They might want to just take an art class or a photography class or a wood tech class, but they're like, that class is at the CP level, I don't want it to negatively impact my GPA. So we created this exemption to be able to afford students to take elective courses without concern for their overall GPA. So how you go about doing that is the middle school has the course exemption form that you'll need to complete if you want to exempt a course from your student's GPA. Exempting the course, you have to exempt it before you start the course. So if you start the course in the fall, it has to be before the first day of school. If it's a second semester course, then it has to be right around midterms. So a student has that time to decide if they want to exempt the course. Once they start the course, they cannot unexempt it, okay? The grade for the course still shows on the transcript. So colleges will still see that a student has taken, say, an art class, what the grade they've received in it. It's just not calculated into their overall GPA. Okay, so on the Algonquin homepage, if we go under academics, guidance, and then we have our course selection page, we have a lot of different resources here. All right, we have a Power School screencast that shows students how to do their courses in Power School. Our program of studies where you can read more about the courses that I just briefly mentioned tonight. We also have the 4-year course of study, which I showed you, that helps map out graduation requirements and elective courses. Make sure you click on the 2027 and beyond. For your student. We also have the freshman course selection sheet on here, which outlines all of the different courses that are available for your student to take in freshman year. So all of that's available right online. All right, so what's our scheduling timeline? I think after vacation, the middle school counselors are going to start the course selection process, the same as the high school, till we'll work through that process, student request, through March. And then at that point, we will gather all of those requests, and then Kathy Carmignani will take over, and she'll start working with our department heads to determine courses that are going to run and sections and stuff like that. The actual scheduling of the high school takes months. And so schedules will be released. We'll work on that all through the summer, and then schedules will be released the week before we students return to for the school year. All right, and we'll send out an email letting parents and students know that schedules have been released in Power School. So that's like our timeline. All right, so that's just an overview of course selections, graduation requirements. I'm going to hand it off to Andy McGowan, who's going to talk about positive freshman transitions.
Thank you, Lisa. So as your child comes into the high school, there's a lot of exciting things that are probably going through their mind. Along with that, some nerves and a little bit of new stressors that may be going through them too. So a lot of the things that we plan ahead of time are to help ease that transition into the high school. It's 2 towns coming together. Some may know each other, some may know no one from the other town. So freshman orientation is one of the biggest, kind of most exciting events that we have this summer, this coming summer. It's usually the week or so before school starts, where a group of peer mentors come and get trained up over the summer to take your child through their schedule on the first during that day, during orientation day, talk about everything from the ins and outs of the school to like their classes, where they're going to be located, their locker, and all that. And when I say a group of peer mentors, it's a little bit more like an army of peer mentors. There's a large number of students that are a part of that and that are here to work with smaller groups of freshmen as they come in. They do a lot of team building and just kind of like, it's really embraces the whole spirit of what Algonquin is, and to get them to understand that and to see that it's a great place. So with that, part of that is our peer mentors. They work with some of the freshmen throughout the year. As Ms. Connery just mentioned, our guidance and support work, that happens starting this year, and as 8th graders, their 8th grade counselors are working with them to prepare them for this. And we have a tremendous guidance counseling team here that will help your child and support them as the years goes on. So they'll be with their counselor all 4 years once they come, and help them from planning the transition and from 9th grade to 10th grade and so forth, up to planning for whatever the next steps are after Algonquin. Lastly, our extracurricular extravaganza. We have a robust number of clubs here at the high school with everything from sewing to robotics and everything in between. So if there's something your child has an interest in, I encourage you to check our website out. There's a clubs page there, clubs and organizations page there. You can take a look at that. They can take a look at that and see if there's an interest there. One of the biggest things we encourage all freshmen to do is to get involved early on, and this extracurricular extravaganza is one way that they can do that. It's early in the year, first couple weeks of school, during lunchtime. All of our clubs set up, our upperclassmen and club leaders set up outside the cafeteria, and it's kind of like just a walk around to see what different options are out there for them that they might be interested in. And so they have that chance, every student in the building has that chance to do that during a lunch period. And then they have the time to learn a little bit about the club, ask some questions, sign up for something they may be interested in, and even if there's nothing of interest to them, there's always the opportunity to start a club as a student here at Algonquin too. So those are some things that we really try to prepare our freshmen for beforehand, before they come in to the building. If they're involved in the sport, fall sports start before school starts, so that's another way that your child may get acquainted with some other peers in the building, and also the building in a little bit of itself. So our student support services, you can see up here we have a range of supports. Some of these are specific to students with certain needs and so forth, but Kate Clark is our student support administrator, and she does a phenomenal job getting our students the support they need if they're on an IEP or 504. We have a program that we have here called Access that's designed specifically for a student who may be out for a few weeks because they had a surgery or something like that, and are behind in their work, and it's designed to support that student as they come back to the school, get them caught up and ready to be back in their classes. Learning centers and small group instructions are designed for students on IEPs. We have focus studies, which is like a tutoring service for students on 504s, and there's also specialized services as well that we have in the building to support the various needs that come to us. All of this is done in collaboration with our general education teachers. Our student support liaisons are working closely with the teachers that your child may have, and it's all there to just provide the whole support for the student as they go through their high school experience. So on the website, you'll see a new student piece to that, and it kind of can give you more information. Ms. Connery referenced the guidance page. There's a ton of information there. Our website really does have a lot that you can find from it. Like I said, anything from clubs to specific courses, and it's just a great resource that you can find. And if you are from a private school and coming here next year, then you will have to enroll in the school, and that also can be found on the student website as well. So before I turn over to Mr. Bevan, We have our department chairs outside, so if you have questions about specific courses or specific content areas, they are a tremendous resource. That'll be an opportunity to do that. But if you have any general questions about some of the things that we've gone over here, we have time for a couple questions, and then I'll hand it over to Mr. Bevan, and you guys will get a chance to talk with our department chairs. Any questions? Yeah. What's new this year for the graduation requirements?
So last year, what was new was, it used to be fine or applied arts course, now it's a fine arts course. So it's technically not new this year. So it's a fine arts course, and then students now have the choice between taking digital literacy or exploring computer science, okay?
Thank you. Good question. Yeah. Other questions? Sure. So the question was, for those who didn't hear it, does a student have the chance to move from within a CP class to an honors class once the semester starts? Typically, once the semester gets going, that's pretty much where they are for the semester and for the duration of the course. So when these conversations are important to have before semester starts or before new classes start, especially coming in as a freshman or between any year. We still have juniors and seniors who talk about asking about switching classes once the semester gets going. But for the most part, it's pretty rare that a shift is made once the course gets going. I don't know, Ms. Connery, you want to speak a little more to that?
Yeah, sure. So if we have a student who is struggling, let's say they're in a full year course, and our teachers are usually pretty good at reaching out to us, and so we do require that students make their level change before the end of term 1. So if they are struggling, then we are going to work with them to get them into the appropriate course, and our teachers are very good at assessing that. So they will let us know, and they'll also let us know if the student is like doing really well, and they're like, I think they might need to jump up, so they'll let us know either way, and then we'll work with the students and the parents to make that decision. Semester course, it tends to be more with the full year courses than it does the semester courses, but of course you can still make the choice to say, if there is an honors level, they're in an honors level elective, that's a semester course, and they want to go to the CP level, they could do that within the first couple weeks of a semester course. If they want to change an elective, let's say they just want a completely different elective, then they need to do that within the first week of school, all right? Because they start missing a lot of content if they're staying in one elective and then trying to jump to a completely different elective. But if it's a level change, then we do that within the first few weeks of a semester course and within the first term of a full year course. Okay, but you really, I want to caution you to, again, listen to what the teachers are saying, because sometimes when we do have to make those level changes, it can be disruptive to the schedule. It doesn't always perfectly match up, so a student may have to give up an elective in order to make a full year level change. We try our best to make it all work, but sometimes choices have to be made. So it's really important to listen to what the teachers are, saying, and then kind of figure out where are your students' interests and passion, and let them challenge themselves in those areas and bring balance in the other areas that maybe are a little more challenging for them. Yep.
Good, we'll take one more. Go ahead. Yep. I'm sure it'll be the great question.
So the question is, if your student starts out in a college prep level class and then wants to, does very well and the next year wants to go up into an honors level course, can they do that? Yes, they can. And the teachers will readily recommend them for that. So it's common for students to, do a CP level course and then jump up into an honors level course. Yep.
So at this, we'll be up front here too. So if you have a question that is from the department chairs or for us, we'll be up front, and feel free to swing up and ask. At this time, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Bevan for a few final remarks. Mr. Bevan, our principal here at Algonquin.
So thank you, everyone. I'm sorry I couldn't be here to kick things off, and I will keep my time short here. I recognize that you might be feeling like you've been drinking from a fire hose here. It's a lot of information all in one place, all at one time. I will send out to you the slide deck, the recording, and I think there were a couple of links that you may have seen, and if you didn't get your phone out and grab a picture of it, don't worry. I'll get that out to you shortly so that you get a chance to look it over when you can. When we were looking this year at trying to do a better job of educating our rising ninth grade families on what the high school has to offer and what steps we can take to support you on your way to our building, you might have even completed a form I had sent out, a survey, and the data that came back became clear to me. I'd asked questions about what kind of information would you like, when would you like it, and in what format and what venue, and I came to understand you all want all the information at all, as much as possible at any point in the year and in any format or venue, and I recognize that, and I hope we have been able to provide that information to you and that we're accessible, and you can approach us, you can email us, give us a call, and we'll help you. I have a ninth grade daughter, not here at this high school, and I also have an 11th grade daughter, so I've been through this process, and I'm certainly familiar with the kind of the unease and the stress that comes along with coming to the high school. But we're ready for you guys, and we're ready for your child. And I think we do a lot of really wonderful things here at the high school. And one of the best things is seeing our new students and seeing them grow over the course of 4 years. I was a teacher here for 7 or 8 years before I left and became a principal elsewhere. And then when I got my first opportunity to return here to this school, I did. This is a really wonderful school that I'm very proud to work in, and it's a real pleasure and an honor to work here every day. And I hope that we can do a good job with you and your child, and I'm confident that we can. So we have wonderful folks here who can help you if you have any questions that pop up, and our department heads are out here in the auditorium lobby to answer department-specific, content-specific questions. Okay? Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you for coming on out.